Hello, my name is Carelton Rivers, and I'm a registered dietitian with NCHPAD. Today we're going to be discussing how to improve your diet after a diagnosis of diabetes. Now, these strategies are not just for those with diabetes. I encourage everyone to apply these tips to their diet every day. So let's get started. The first thing that you want to remember is to monitor the amount of carbohydrates you eat. That way you're able to control your blood glucose levels or blood sugar levels. So what is a carbohydrate? Well, carbohydrates are found in bread, in rice and pasta, and other starchy things like potatoes and corn and legumes, which are beans and peas. Carbohydrates are also found in sweet foods and drinks like fruit and milk and yogurt, as well as sugar sweetened beverages, fruit juice, and some candy, and of course any sweet desserts. So the type of diet I'm going to be emphasizing today is the Mediterranean style diet. Now, this diet has huge amounts of research that have shown wonderful benefits in improving cardiovascular health and also increasing insulin sensitivity, which is necessary for someone with type 2 diabetes. A Mediterranean style diet is rich in seasonal fruits and vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats like fish and nuts and avocados. And then it's going to be moderate amounts of cheese and dairy products like milk and yogurt. It's going to be moderate amounts of lean protein and eggs, and then just minimal amounts of red meat and sweets. So if you notice over here, there still are carbohydrates in the Mediterranean style diet. And this is where carb counting comes into play. So I find that carb counting is the best way to monitor the amount of carbohydrates you eat and drink at mealtime and for snacks. So what I have done here is I've portioned out the carbohydrate containing foods into one carb serving. So what does that mean? Well, 15 grams of carbohydrates equals one carb serving. So let's take this piece of bread for instance. This piece of bread contains about 15 grams of carbohydrates. So we'll say this is one carb serving. Now, if you're recommended to consume 2 carb servings for breakfast, then you want to limit your carbohydrate intake to 30 grams that breakfast. The American Diabetes Association recommends a good starting point as 3 to 5 carb servings per meal. That would be a sandwich made out of 2 slices of bread. You could put meat and cheese in it, along with a bunch of non-starchy vegetables, and then a small side of fruit. And there you go. You have 3 carb servings. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to make the most out of this diet. So I'm going to take a little over 1 cup of spinach, and then I'm going to grab some tomatoes and a radish. And what's great about these vegetables is they're very low in carbohydrates. So we call them free foods. You can pretty much eat as much as you want of these foods and not raise your blood glucose levels. So I'm going to add this to the salad. And I always love adding a salad to any meal because it just helps fill you up. So we're going to slice up some of this radish and add it to the salad. And then we're going to grab some walnuts, which are filled with really healthy fats. They're really great for your brain health and to raise your good cholesterol, your HDL cholesterol. So I'm just going to crush some of that. Now, 1 serving size is about 1 palm full, which is 1 ounce of nuts. And then I'm going to add in some just mozzarella cheese. Just slice it up, sprinkle it on. And then we're going to do salad dressing. So it's really just 1 tablespoon of olive oil and a half a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar or whatever vinegar that you prefer. So I'm going to drizzle it over. And now, of course, you can buy salad dressing in the grocery store, but it's probably more expensive. And if you get the low-fat version, then it's going to be high in sugar. So I say go with homemade. It's usually better anyways. So I'm also going to add in about 3 ounces of salmon fillet. And so there you go. So this meal actually does not have many carbohydrates. It does not even have a full 1 carb serving. So if you want to add carbohydrates to this meal, you could add half of a sweet potato, which is about 15 grams of carbohydrates. You could add 1 cup of strawberries, which is 1 carb serving, and then you could add half a cup of grapes. So not all fruits are created equal. There are some that are higher in carbohydrates than others. For instance, berries are going to have the lowest amount of carbohydrates, whereas grapes are a bit higher, and so are bananas. So 1 carb serving of banana is going to be half of a banana. And then for an apple, 1 small apple is going to be 1 carb serving. So if you have a big apple, you're probably going to want to cut it in half to monitor your carbohydrate intake. So remember, when you're trying to make a lifestyle change involving your diet, it's not that difficult. Look at all the wonderful food that you get to eat. All you have to do is make sure you're eating nutrient-rich foods, so high in vitamins and minerals, so yummy fruits and vegetables, whole grains, things that are going to fill you up and keep you satisfied. They're also going to improve your health and just make you feel better. So when you're adjusting your diet to control your blood glucose levels or your blood sugar levels, go low in carbohydrates and high in those healthy fats like olive oil, avocados, and salmon. It's going to take a little bit more preparation, but I know you can do it. So eat up and enjoy. Happy eating!